Hey guys, good morning, late morning, afternoon. Please excuse my dog hacking along in the background. He's a little sassy this morning, and you can never tell if he's actually struggling to breathe because he's old or if he is wanting to get attention. How are you guys doing? I know we've been shifting. Venus has moved from Leo into Virgo, and we have a lot of retrograde energy. We've got the moon and we've got temperance, and it totally makes sense because temperance is, you know, balancing where do you where your attention flows, your energy goes, where your you know, what you focus on is what you become. And so we've got this energy of Venus going into Virgo. We are in Virgo season. We are trying to do the things, but we need to be careful. You know, I really just wanted to come and chill with you guys and chat really about Venus moving into Virgo. You know, Venus is our goddess of love and beauty and the things that give us pleasure and joy. And, you know, Venus, well, let me say this too, because I was talking about this in a short video that I shared. And if you kind of look at some of the videos, we've been talking about the progression of the energies. And, ooh, did I not grab a water bottle? Hold on, you guys. One moment. Please enjoy the beautiful candle by my friend Meg. Clear the Vibes, Palo Santo, and Sage. I think I showed this in the other video too. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. I was out of coffee. And I needed a water bottle. So we've got little fruit fly going on here in the RV. Listen, so here's the thing is we've been talking about these karmic cycles, karmic contracts, and all these things with Saturn in retrograde all year. Going to be wrapping up, I think, in October. I can't remember. I think it's more toward the end of October. And then we've got all this other retrograde energy, you guys, you know, that I talked about in another video. My goodness, Saturn obviously in retrograde in Aquarius. That's those karmic things being brought into alignment, brought into be focused on. I did this whole talk before, and I don't want to just go all the way back into it, but it's this whole energy of, on a higher frequency, you know, karmic debts are being leveled up. It's like you switching in your ticket to say, hey, I finally have earned this. Now I'm going to receive this blessing. I'm going to receive this spiritual evolving. I'm going to receive this abundance, whatever the case may be that's coming to you. Excuse me. And on a lower frequency, that's definitely looking like the debt collector coming around to call up on some debts. That's definitely looking like it's time to pay the karma collector, right? If you've been acting like you've been studying for your test, you ain't gonna pass it this round. You know, you're gonna fail, and it's gonna be time to fall back. It's gonna be time to pay debts. There's a lot of things like that. So this is Saturn going in retrograde, and then we've got Pluto in retrograde. We've got Uranus in retrograde. We've got who do we have pre-shadow? Is Mercury fully in retrograde yet? And then Mars. Anyway, so we have almost all, if not all, the major planets going to be in retrograde here. So what I was explaining the other day is this whole concept, energetically, spiritually, that, you know, souls, relationships, cyclical, ancestral, generational energies that play out, certain loops, because these things are collected to completion now, what we're going to see is, I was using the metaphor about getting on the plane, right? And the doors closing. Us and our family and our soul tribe, our divine higher spirit is driving the plane, and they're closing the door, and all these energies, these especially playing out in relationship dynamics, family members, romantic relationships, people from the past, friends, etc. But I will say this, this could also show up as past addictions, past traumas, past wounds that are not being healed, things that we want to reach back and crack that door open, but we want to evolve because our heart, our energy, and I know if you're showing up here to watch this video, I always want to reiterate to people that resonate with me, that I find myself resonating with, our soul tribe, right? Our soul family, so to speak, that we've done clusters of lifetimes before together. And however you see that, take it as you will. We're guided. And so now we're on this plane because we're going to evolve, because our heart space walks in alignment. We're doing our shadow work. And look, just because when I say doing shadow work, I mean actively really trying to do the work within yourself. Doesn't mean you're nailing it and it's going perfect all the time, okay? But you know what I'm saying? So these are the people on the plane, and I was giving this metaphor about people are going to come banging on the door. But if you're in a plane, you're getting ready for takeoff, right? All the tickets metaphorically have been checked. Either you could get on or you couldn't. That could come in your bag, or it had to be left. Whatever metaphor you want to use, right? So now we're on the plane, and I was explaining in these retrograde seasons that the door is closing down to a halt. And so people, energies, past traumas, wounds, addictions, old versions of ourselves, they want to come banging, bang, bang, bang on the door. But we can't open it, because if you're flying in a plane, you're getting ready for takeoff, you crack a door open, it's going to create a vacuum. And that's not going to work. We cannot fly to higher places, right? Like that. So listen, what I was thinking about when I was looking at this chart, and I was thinking about Venus moving into the sign of Virgo. So my concern now, and I want to talk to you about it, I see it now in front of me in my own 3D. I hear it in stories of people that I read for, circles of people that we work together, other astrologers, etc., right? When Venus shifts from something like Leo going into Virgo, you know, Virgo is practical. It thinks about health and body. It likes service. And I just want us, I want to remind us that Spirit is really speaking to me about heart chakra work. And we've talked about that in other videos. And the thing that sometimes we can do, we may be sitting in Virgo season, being in this second leg of the harvest season, saying, I'm okay. You know, I'm not really reaching back to the so addictions is what I'm saying, is what I'm hearing, and I'm not reaching back. You know, I'm cool with the food. My body feels pretty good. I don't feel like I've reached out maybe to a substance addiction or a codependent addiction or whatever, but I feel like Spirit wants us to know that sometimes addictions can hide and cloak themselves. So when we're sitting in this, we're thinking about love, beauty, joy, groundedness is the Virgo energy, right? So when Venus is in Virgo, helpfulness, you know, when we're trying to be grounded in an energy like helpfulness, let's make sure that we ground in helping ourselves. We ground in loving ourselves. We ground in our own routine and our own mindfulness and our own body, and embody that for ourselves. My concern, and I think the message from Spirit, is that sometimes we can cloak in overdoing, overgiving, overhelping, and extend that out in this Venus and Virgo energy. So let's not find ourselves, let's say, being addicted to helping the people who hurt us and cloaking that as growth. That's heavy, but I feel that in my own spirit. Let's also not cloak this energy in putting our head in the sand so much, again, with over helping others, overdoing for others. Is going to be an energy is going to be like, cool, I can go do that for you. I'm cool. Let me do this. Let's not do a thing where we backstep by burying our head in the sand of putting the energy that Spirit wants us to pour back into ourselves to heal ourselves. Because remember, we're on the plane. We're not going to use the excuse, listen to this though, using the same metaphor. We're not going to run back to the door and say, oh, well, I opened the door though because they were hurt and they needed help. Well, because I know they can't do that for themselves and they needed help, and I'm going to go back, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back and take, again, the healing, the practical mindfulness, these things that we've talked about in another video, and we're going to pour that energy again. That's cracking the door. It's the same thing. We just have an addiction to telling ourselves different stories to try to justify, because we want to escape the pain of facing that we can't heal their karma for them. We can't let them cheat off the test anymore. We can't, and that's even going back to those older versions of yourself behind that door that will whisper to you, or those addictions behind that door that will whisper to you. We can't go back and crack it, because that's going to be the opposite of the progression of all the work we've been doing. That's also going to suck off energy from our own heart chakra, from our own inner child healing, and the work that we've done to get to be on the ticket to the plane that's going higher and upwards. Okay? So Venus in Virgo is also doing some other alignments with some stars in this chart. And there's a star called, it's very interesting if you want to read about fixed stars. They're very fascinating. But this one's called Regulus. And what it's going to do is give us this blast of like activation type energy. Venus, you know, divine feminine, but with the Virgo help of creating like this rebalancing effect, we can achieve that right now. And this reminds me, we just saw the Temperance card, right? And then we saw the moon, which pairs well together, divine feminine and rebalancing, when I was shuffling here a few minutes ago. But we shifted Venus from fire energy to earth energy. So now we need to continue on that grounding embodiment. We really also, we want to be realistic with ourselves. We don't want to also fall into this place of becoming super easy in Virgo season. Listen, to be very, very critical of ourselves. Be very, very like a perfectionist mind, judging ourselves, being harsh, especially Mercury getting ready. Are we in pre-shadow? Can't remember if Mercury's fully retrograde, but anyway, Uranus and all these retrograde energy, we're going to be thinking a lot. Things are going to be slowing down. Information is going to pop up to say, oh, you remember this? Oh, bet you didn't even know this. These things are going to be popping up. We're going to be in our minds thinking about a lot. Let's not twist the Virgo energy into the shadow of becoming overly critical of let's say like our bodies, our health, our own image, or let's not, when we can be productive, it's fine to have an awareness of where maybe I haven't been efficient, but let's make an action plan to make it better. But let's not fall into that shadow energy too, of wasting too much time on, oh my gosh, I cannot believe being so judgmental of yourself on what you didn't do. Because remember, you're here. We're rebalancing. We're going to get that blast of, again, that blast of kind of like activation energy. Let's use that in the most positive way that we can. But mainly I'm just, you know, again, the big message that was stirring in my heart space was just, let's not feel this Venus in Virgo energy as a reason to go back and overly help, as a reason to tell ourselves stories about how we're going to heal and help and be practical and do these things for other people, but we need to be doing them for ourselves. Because a huge message is going to be, we can't help people who aren't ready to help themselves. We cannot do other people's karma. Karma, you made decisions to step away and elevate for a reason, whether that was from old versions of yourself, old relationships, old places that you lived in, old jobs you knew you couldn't work anymore. Again, I'm in my heart and my spirit and my own energy, I am seeing it a lot in relationships. excuse me, but you take it as you will, as it applies in your own life, right? Sorry, you guys. This stuff is amazing, by the way. Shout out to Super Coffee if you've never had it. I try to do intermittent fasting, keto type as much as possible. And I love that stuff. It's amazing. But yeah, what else do we... I'm just looking around this Venus and Virgo movement. And you know what, too, while I'm just looking, I'm thinking Venus is so much about how you find your worth in yourself, how you find your love in yourself, how and why do you feel worthy or don't you feel worthy? What makes you feel loved? How do you or don't you love yourself? And evaluating our daily practices that ground us as to how they're serving us or how they're hindering us in that way. We've got, what do we got? Retrograde, Chiron retrograde. Yes, Chiron is still retrograding in Aries. That's another big one, the Chiron retrograde that's been going on this year. We've got, Black Moon Lilith. Interesting. Chiron, the wounded healer, is doing this interesting trigger in this semi-square with this Black Moon Lilith. Anyway, I don't want to get into too many terms, but this could be there's so much divine feminine goddess, the divine feminine goddess love in yourself, strength and power in yourself energy going on this week. So we can look at how relationships that we're in challenge us that way, how jobs, people that we work for challenge us in that way, and make sure we're embodying a path that helps us feel most worthy, that reiterates in our life how we walk it out every day, that reiterates in our body how we treat it every day, that reiterates in our home how we are mindful in what we do in our home every day, that supports our own worthiness and value. Oh man, and then, well, we could talk totally separately about Mars retrograde and everything that's going to bring in, but it's going to help us kind of see the truth of where we need to do the work. And again, please, I just want to remind you guys, that we want to do this in a way that reflects back love, worthiness, support for ourselves. We're not being overly critical of ourselves, and we're not hiding our head in the sand to use all these ways to help serve other people. I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to help with this, and I'm going to because then that becomes a tool for avoidance in the work that you need to do for yourself. And then please remember, I love you so much, but we cannot work other people's karma. We cannot let them ride off the auras, off our energy, off of our work. We cannot let them cheat on the test. They cannot get on the plane based off our ticket. Please remember. And I say that in love. And sometimes us embodying firm boundaries for our own self-love, for our own self-worth, actually teaches these people, actually, when we say no, when we step back, when we put up a boundary, it allows them the severance, it allows them the space, the realization, the shock, so to speak, or whatever it is, that awareness, where maybe they can actually get to a place to evolve. But we don't want to hinder people from learning how to help themselves. Knowing when to help and knowing when to step away could be a great message for this week as well. What do the cards... Oh. You guys, look. The Devil, that's your Capricorn energy, FYI. But the Devil, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So what this feels like to me is there's a lot of new energy that wants to come through in the second phase of the harvest season. We're in September, we're in the Mabon season. We're thinking apples, we're seeing fruits, we are reaping what we've sown still. Okay, but we don't want to go back to patterns. We were just talking about this. that sabotage our self-worth, that sabotage our healing. We want to instead reflect on the shadow, you know, to see how we can evolve into something like the Queen of Wands. Okay, the Queen of Wands does not stifle her light when she enters into a room. She's full of charisma. She is passionate about what it is that she brings to the table. I don't know, this is totally intuitive message, but maybe it's for somebody. Is this feeling of like a page is not going to be able to step up to a queen if you're a fire sign. Maybe that's for someone. Just take note, you know, maybe this is an earth sign or a Capricorn. But look, I'm not channeling relationship readings. I was just, you know, something that was coming into the mind. But on a deeper self-reflective level, returning to old devils, so to speak, old shadows, whether they be people, places, thing, or self on the inside. We don't want to block the new, inspiring, creative energy, the new energy of harvesting what's trying to come into us. We don't want to make ourselves small to fit into a space, or we don't even want to try to go back to spaces that made us feel small to begin with, because we deserve more than that. Look at this. You ever look at cards and you see something and you've never noticed it before? Look at her black cat. Oh, you guys. Anyway, I feel like these three cards are very supportive of what we were just talking about in the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands came up a lot. I think it came up the last time that I was pulling cards. The Ten of Wands is a reminder that the cycle is complete. What we're not doing in Virgo season is going out. So we put the wands down, okay? We came through the Lionsgate portal. We shifted through the full moon in Aquarius. We drew back and we said, no, I'm going to be authentic to self. Now we're in Virgo season. We ground, we embody, we heal, we look at our own worth. We evaluate our own time and our own focus and energy of the day. We do not, I love you. Love you so much. We don't go and pick up other people's wands, because the cycle needs to complete. In fact, it is. So what happens is, if you decide to either go back and pick up the wands again, or you keep carrying them, you're going to start a whole nother cycle. You're going to send up a flare to the universe to say, actually, JK, LOL, I wasn't ready to be on the plane. I cracked the door. Now I'm going to put someone else's backpack on again, and I'm not going to ride. So what I'm going to do is go back down to this level. I'm going to walk out some more lessons. Then I'm going to have to take some more tests, and maybe we'll catch it next time. That's not what we want to do, okay? Because we've worked too hard. We've worked too hard. We saw it on the shuffle and it comes out again. You know what? Because where we put our energy, we need balance. We need equilibrium. Evaluate when you're pouring your water from the 2 cups, where do you pour your precious time, your precious energy? Where is that going? That's going to be huge this week. It's going to be huge in Virgo season. Especially, I'm just saying, especially with this retrograde energy. Okay, because if we're not rooted and grounded and embodying everything that we've learned up to this point, if we're not sitting there tightening our seatbelts and buckling in and understanding what it is that we came to do here, it's going to be tough riding. It's going to be, to go along with the airplane, it's going to be turbulent. It's going to be a turbulent ride if you get to stay on and ride at all, right? You know, the Temperance is a beautiful card because it's about masculine and feminine balance, which we were just talking about in the astrology. The Temperance is really about being fluid. Life is moving, and we want to, I don't know, this comes to mind, moving your body. But that's very Virgo oriented anyway, body movement. I think in this retrograde season, I said this in another video, but moving your body around to shake off some energy, to keep stagnant things in motion. We're still working with the waning energy of the sun here, so we can still channel a little bit of that, but we want to move our bodies and release things that are trying to hang on to us. And I think that will help us with that ten of wands. 10 of wands and the devil too, by the way. It just feels like excuse me, it feels like this sticky, sludgy energy that wants to hold on. And that's that energy I'm telling you, on the coattails of the aura, on the just clinging to your coattails, wanting to ride with you. Please just answer one more question for me and let me ride with you. And we can't. So we have to evaluate what we even focus on. What are we looking at? What are we reading? What vision boards do we have? What are we putting on our Pinterest? What are we looking at on Instagram? What is in front of our face? What is being read into our minds? What are we watching? How are we handling our body? Who are we literally giving access to our time? It's going to be so hugely, from the metaphor of the plane and keeping the door shut, that's going to anchor it down into the 3D. You can't say that you're keeping the door shut to something if you keep entertaining it in your field of energy, in your field of vision, in your field of communication. That is giving out a cord, so to speak, to keep plugged into you. How are you going to keep calling on your ancestors, your higher spirit guides, and your team? How are we going to take off on the plane if everybody's got these little stagnant energy cords? It's like in my mind, I see the plane trying to like lift off, and it's like a rubber band as a bitch pulling it back down. Y'all, we gotta go. Okay, we at the end of the Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, the plane going to be ready to go. So we can't be rubber banded to the runway. Why does it make me think of Top Gun too? I went and saw that, by the way. It was wonderful. Yes, I loved it. And it's like where they're landing on the boat, and he's got those rubber band attachments that keep him from running off the runway. I don't know. That's what I thought of. Random. That's funny though, because if you know how their relationship played out in that storyline with Tom and what's her name, Maverick, and what's her name, but anyway, let's not go into that. It's just funny. Their dynamic of their relationship was very much karmic. I digress for another day. Okay. 5 of Wands, you know what? I feel like that is the energy of the people banging at the door. But here's what I love about the 5 of Wands card. If you ever look at it, and this is different in other cards too, but you can still see it, is that you'll usually see 4 people are somewhat much more entangled and kind of going at it with each other. And then one person's either removed, I think in the Rider-Waite, the person's not even tangled with them, but one person's kind of in the background, like they're removed from the fight. So again, I think that pairs well with, we are not going back to carry other people's wands. We're balancing what we're focusing on. We're not even getting in the fight with our wand, because that's not even where we're at. We're Venus and Virgo over here. We're karmic cycles and contracts completed. We've leveled up. We're not rolling backwards to get back into the fight, period, because we're in a whole different, we're not even, what is the fight? Who's fighting? What? Oh, I didn't even know. Because I was busy like evaluating my work. I was busy cleaning and donating stuff for my house. I'm sorry. I was busy jogging. I was busy kind of eating certain things today and doing some meditation. I've kind of been over here. What fight? What are you even talking about? That's the level Spirit wants us to be. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on the plane reading the pamphlet about my next level of the things that I'm going to learn to better myself, so that I feel worthy, so that I feel loved by myself, because Spirit's leading me and I'm not looking for no fight. So what fight are y'all talking about? Please. Y'all, do y'all know a Virgo that would sound just like that? Hear me out. What fight? I'm sorry, I was labeling my Tupperware in the fridge. I was cleaning out. Oh, I'm sorry, I was shopping for organic vegetables. Y'all, what fight are y'all talking about? Because I'm busy. What is that? Is it a TikTok, y'all? What is it where it's like the dude's like, hey, and the chick is like, hey, I'm successful, how are you? Like Virgo energy. Venus and Virgo. I don't have time. What fight? Do you see I only have 2 cups? I'm sorry. I put the other wands down. Y'all, I'm just going to dip out of the back of this fight, because what fight? I'm over here doing Queen of Wands shit. No. Sorry, no. Y'all, look at her face. Is that not a Virgo face? I'm sorry, what fight? Yeah. Okay. I'm done with it. What do we have now? Six of Pentacles. Equal reciprocity. Generous energy. When I look at this card intuitively, I feel like it's a message of donating things if you don't need them anymore in this Virgo season. But it's part of loving yourself and knowing your worth and exercising your energetic boundaries is understanding when something is in your life that makes you, ooh, now I can't hold all the cards at one time. When something is in your life that makes you feel like you need to be smaller in order to be seen, or you need to pick up sticks in order to have worth to it, or you need to engage in some sort of conflict. No, that is not equal reciprocity. We need to be engaged in things that bring us balance and equilibrium and don't take more than they give. Okay, so we need to eliminate that right now and wish it well and love and light, and we hope that it all evolves. We only want the best and the highest evolution for all things. And when we exercise boundaries, when we practice loving self-care, when we remember our worth and we evaluate our energy, our time flow back into our own day, because we have things to do. Okay, we don't have time to pour out into things that are not pouring back into us. And when we balance those scales, so to speak, with boundaries, with owning your no, with understanding how to prioritize your time, you don't owe it to anybody to give everything to anybody. You don't have to be on all the time. We are not, no. And what we do is we help those lower frequencies evolve to come up. You know what happens when someone can't access you on a lower level? What happens is that, okay, if they're just bound and determined to be like a narcissistic frequency or something that's unhealthy, or that we could talk on different terms about, but I'm talking about on the general, right? What happens when someone realizes that they cannot access you that way? They'll understand the standard. They'll understand the boundary. And then they will only have a choice to come up to meet you where you are. We don't go down. They come up lovingly, respectfully. I say this. I'm speaking on energetic frequency terms, okay? And that's self-respect, and that's Virgo. That's Venus and Virgo energy. Because if they come up, what happens? The bottom level shifts. Now maybe the bottom level's here. What happens if we go down? We're not raising the tier. Okay, if we're up here and we say, I will hold the boundary, I will not open the door. Well, the only way I can get into the door, the only way I can is to come up. And then boom, maybe we have a new lowest frequency. That's how when we grow, they grow. When we shift, the collective shifts. You get what I'm saying? Equal reciprocity, equilibrium, balance, where boundaries, self-love, self-worth. This is what it's all giving. Spirit had things to say today, you guys. I want to pull an oracle card. I've been using these in my own journaling every day. This is Spirit Animal Wisdom by Katie Jane Wright. Lovely. She's thankful to Spirit, my higher self, Spirit, God, ancestors. I'm thankful for anyone who sees that this today, that they would be blessed, that they would evolve into their best and high self. Just expressing gratitude. Thank you if you're watching this. I love you. And yes, I mean that. Even though I may have never put my hand on your lovely face or elsewhere. I love you. And let's see what we got. Should I pull off the top? Starfish. Intuition. Listen to your soul's truth. Think less. Feel more. And ooh, y'all, we're gonna have a Pisces full moon coming up too on what, the 10th? We're gonna be feeling. You're gonna be feeling. This one does not have an index, and I will say that drives me bananas because I feel like I just end up flipping through the book, and that's exactly what I am doing. index, like table of contents, something. We are looking for starfish, spirit, take the wheel. At least we have some nice calming music while I flip through this tiny book. Hey, starfish. All right. It says the element is water. Listen to your soul's truth. Think less, feel more. The starfish is a deeply sensitive creature. He has no brain, but that does not make him any less intelligent. He has an intricate system of nerves running through his body and limbs, and that's how he does his processing. The starfish prompts you to listen to your feelings and intuition. Always go with your first reaction, thought, urge, the one that came from your heart, as it will not steer you in the wrong direction. Think less, feel more. I love that this book gives crystal companion suggestions. Labradorite, amethyst, apophyllite are suggestions. So yeah, I think this is very appropriate because I think the message here is to use your intuition, your first gut instinct. You know good and well your gut, your heart, your spirit guides will tell you when a connection, a friendship, a person, a romantic partner, a family member, a place you live, a job you work, etc., is not right for you. Listen to your intuition on these places you don't need to be pouring your energy anymore. Let your intuition and your spirit guides lead you on things that will draw you back into the shadow energy and block the newness that wants to come through and the reaping of what we've been sowing, okay? So I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you hung out through the chat, and I wish you the best this week. It can be a very powerfully moving, healing week if we choose to use it. So I encourage you to be out, be grounded. I encourage you to journal, to self-reflect, and to just be really stingy with your time and prioritize yourself. Prioritize yourself. Spirit said, say it again, prioritize yourself. And if you're watching this and you're an empathic person, you feel that you may be like a light worker, healer, you know, a way shower, whatever title resonates with you, you know, whatever. We struggle to prioritize ourselves. Don't tell me you don't, because you do. And Spirit said, prioritize yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit, your home, your routine. Okay. I love you. I appreciate you so much. And I hope the rest of your week is really amazing.